Hello everybody, this is a short workshop just explaining the basics of flats, sharps, whole tones and half tones. So again, we have the paperwork which gives all the half notes and all the sharps and flats so that you can follow it along. We're not doing minors or sevenths, but there are other workshops that I've got that cover them. So on the first page, we have a picture of the piano keyboard, and it is showing all the open notes, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, on the white keys, and all the sharps and flats, D flat, E flat, F sharp, A flat, and B flat on the black notes. I've used the keyboard because it's a little bit easier to visualize when you see it laid flat like that. But I've also put all the half tones onto the ukulele neck, so that you can see where all the sharps, flats and everything are on there. All right, so in the previous workshop I covered the basics of family chords. This is now followed on. This is a very rudimentary understanding of the flats and sharps. All right, these D flat, E flat, F sharp, A flat, B flat are the most commonly used terms. Sometimes though they will be written a little bit differently, and you may be playing along and you've always used a D flat in a song, and somebody else has written it up as a C sharp. So you're going, oh, where's a C sharp? And you've got to try and remember how to play it. It is a D flat. Or it might be an F sharp or an F sharp minor. And we use them a lot in the key of A. And they've written it as a G flat or a G flat minor, and it just throws you. So it's good to have an understanding of how the flats and sharps work. So if you're looking at the piano, and it is much easier to see it that way, you've got white keys and you've got black keys. So your white key before the first black key is an F. So your sharp will be an F sharp. It's the one next after the white key is a sharp. But if you're playing a G and you want to flatten it, then you take it down. So if you imagine flat, you're flattening it down to the black note, and it's a G flat. If you're sharpening an F, it's an F sharp. If you see it written down, it's a lot easier to understand. So the same song may have F, F sharp G, or it may have F, G flat G, and it's exactly the same. That's why the paperwork's very good to be seeing that. And remember, if you've bought the other paperwork and use the code, you don't need to pay for this. This is free to download. So the scale or the octave, instead of being C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, as we did in the families, it is all in half tones now. C, D flat, D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G, B flat, A flat, A, B flat, B, C. Now, if you have a look at it, you'll see that E is next to F. There's no black note in between. So they are half notes. There's no such thing as an E sharp or an F flat. And the same from B to C. There's no such thing as a B sharp or a C flat. They are only half tones or semitones apart. So when you do a scale in semitones, they're all half notes. C, D flat, D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G, A flat, A, B flat, B, C. They are all semitones or half tones. So when you go to change a key, you generally use a whole tone. But on occasions, we use a song that goes from D to E to F. So we might sing the first two verses in D, the second two verses in E, and the last verse in F. And we generally do that because in the group that I play in, the men have more trouble singing in keys that the women like, so we like to move it up to give everybody a good turn. All right, so now to transfer that to ukulele. If you imagine that this bar, this white bar here on the ukulele, down by there is a C bar. So we're going to actually bar with our finger, bar it across. If you imagine that first one is a C, forget about playing C, that is a C bar. Well, obviously there's no strings there. So the first one will be D flat, the first one that you put your finger across. I'm trying to do this so that you can see what I'm doing. Unfortunately, I have arthritis, so I use my ring finger to bar with. So the first bar will be D flat, the second one will be D, the third one will be E flat, fourth fret is an E, fifth fret is an F, F sharp, G, A flat, A, B flat, B, C on the 12th fret. So you're barring, and they come in handy if you're using bar chords, looking for minors on the bottom, like your B minor, C minor, D minor. There's lots of ways, if you know where those half notes are, that you can play a tricky chord. Well, we've got an F sharp in something in one of our songs, so I use it on the 6th fret for an F sharp rather than do the finger gymnastics, I call it, to try and do a chord that's rather difficult. So it's very good to actually learn where all those half or semitone notes are. Basically, you don't need to read music if you're playing the ukulele, and I'm not a music teacher. My knowledge of written music is small. I learnt music as a child, but I think probably knowing what flats, sharps, chord families, semitones and tones are probably the most important things to making the ukulele a much more simple and much more effective instrument. It will give you freedom. It will help you play things that normally you wouldn't be able to play. And yeah, it just brings out more and more enjoyment. So the last thing I want to say is that just remember, a black key, if it comes after a white key, is a sharp, and if it is named before the white key, it is a flat. We move, each fret is a semitone. Generally, when you change key, if you're going from D to E, you use a whole tone. I think you might find that the paperwork is much easier to go through, so I do encourage you to download that from the website, www.brainersize.com, and I'll put it underneath anyway. All right, everybody, enjoy and keep on playing, and we will see you at the next workshop.